Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 4 of our F1 2021 fantasy look through. Today we're here back obviously reviewing the Spanish Grand Prix from our F1 fantasy team. Obviously if you guys missed out on the podcast that Jamie and I did yesterday, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out. Of course that features a lot more of the discussions about the Grand Prix and everything around that, but yeah, not the best week for ourselves. Obviously if you guys missed out on the one we did after Portugal, I decided I'd take some risk with our F1 fantasy, and first time round, it hasn't played off all too well for us, unfortunately. That 137 points, I think this does make it our worst week so far of the year. Yeah, 1 point lower than we managed in Bahrain, so not the best time in the world for us, unfortunately, when all is said and done. But hopefully, I'm sort of seeing this as more of a long-term plan over the coming weeks. And obviously, having a look through our team, the only driver that really did well was unfortunately Lewis Hamilton there. I don't even want to begin to imagine how many people got screwed over by Lando Norris having quite a quiet weekend when all was said and done there. Esteban Ocon, unfortunately, obviously got screwed by Alpine's interesting strategy tactics over the course of the weekend. Sergio Perez fell under the weather and then obviously didn't qualify particularly well and just didn't have a particularly good race. And then unfortunately as well, Mick Schumacher, obviously Haas just didn't really have the pace to stick near anyone this weekend. Obviously we saw Schumacher last weekend get with Latifi. Maybe I bought into the hype a little bit too much there as well. And obviously, yeah, unfortunately, McLaren just had comfortably a slower car than Ferrari last weekend as well there. So as we head towards the Monaco Grand Prix, certainly gives us a few things to think about as well. Obviously, we'll have a look at maybe changing around the roster ever so slightly. But generally speaking, I want to believe we took a gamble. It didn't quite pay off over the course of the weekend there. Like I said, Hamilton was really the one driver that did deliver for us at the end of the day there. So having a look then at the overall leagues, let's see who did best in the fourth Grand Prix, I should say, of the year there. Let's have a look. It was this guy, Aaron Ever, 286 points, obviously, of course, using the Mega Driver there. I think was he the only driver? Yeah, no, he did better than everyone else there in the end by 5 points. So he had Russell, who scored 10, Verstappen as his Mega Driver, hence obviously why he scored a lot of points there. He got lucky that he turboed Charles Leclerc, who obviously scored big points. Red Bull as well scored 59, and Ricciardo as well did better than Lando Norris for the first time this year, with 23, and then of course Raikkonen with 15 points as well there. So he got really lucky. Well, I guess it's all kind of luck, kind of strategy at the end of the day. And he somehow managed to squeeze Red Bull into his budget as well, though. So that's quite insane that he's been able to do that. He's got nearly 101 million value in that as well there, as you can see. Yeah, fair play. He smashed it this weekend. I don't know if that's the theoretical best score you could have got. I'd be quite impressed. Obviously, it was a bit of a weird Grand Prix, a little bit different with a few of the narratives relative to what we've seen early on this year there. So maybe, just maybe, obviously, there was potentially a few more points to be picked up from this Grand Prix there. But having a look, though, at our F1 Fantasy League then, so 286 points was the maximum anyone could have got. How well did people do in ours? Up to 373 members as well. A massive thank you to all of you that are still joining the league. Obviously, there is the league code if you want to get yourself involved as well there. As well, you know, we're leaving the league open right the way through to the end of the year. Like I said, I'd love to try and get up to 400 teams if possible as well there. But yeah, so 285 was the maximum that anyone got from Spain. Who did the best in the league then? If it F1 Fantasy, it keeps doing this at the moment. There we go. Finally it does decide to load, and it was actually Hassan Team 1 there from Hassan B, who used his Mega Driver there. 269 points. So he had turboed Leclerc as well. I think that's going to be a common theme throughout this one. Mega Driver Verstappen, not the best person he could have done with, but I mean still 123 points is only 9 short of what Lewis Hamilton would have got had you Mega Drive'd him. Russell as well, not the best choice. Ocon as well, actually, just like myself. So he had quite a few of the same drivers as me there. Obviously Turbo Charles Leclerc, which is obviously a big haul of points there. And then of course had Red Bull as well, which obviously gave him a nice big haul there as well. Second up was Arno F. As you can see, Mega's Verstappen turboed Perez as well. That was quite an interesting gamble from him with Red Bull as well there. And obviously Ocon, Norris and George Russell once again there. So a good job done by him. Wyatt managed to get 2 teams. Has he got identical teams there? Norris, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Mega's Verstappen, Russell and Red Bull. Did he have exactly the same in there as well? Norris, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell and Red Bull. Yeah, so that's why he did exactly the same with his two teams there. Would have been more impressed had you gone with two different rosters and managed to somehow get them both to 259 points there. Jake B, 249 just behind there. Again, Mega Verstappen, Turbo Norris. I think a lot of people were buying into some Verstappen hype this weekend. They're a little bit of a rip from both of those to a certain degree, but still did very, very well when all is said and done there. Further down the order, congrats as well to Aras S getting inside the top, the top 6 there. You can see 3 guys tied in P2 there. Jake getting another team inside the top 10 there. He again, Mega Verstappen. He bought a lot of hype on Verstappen this week and unfortunately didn't quite pay off there. And Jake Team 3, Mega Lewis Hamilton there. Only Sonoda ripped him a lot of points there. Minus 14 is quite a big hit when you consider how many drivers tend to walk away with a point there. But yeah, really disappointing weekend for Yuki Tsunoda as well there. And Dante making up the rest of your top 10. Ankit was the top guy who didn't Mega Driver, so he turboed Leclerc. Had Verstappen, Gasly, Norris, Russell and Red Bull in there. Another solid lineup. Fair play to you as well. So very good job on that one. And then Jacob as well. Jacob Team 2 did exactly the same with exactly the same roster. Rather unsurprisingly. Did anyone else rip their Mega Driver this week? I don't think anyone did. Having a look further down the order. I mean, if someone did, they've used it a long way down. Someone used their wild card. That was a Mog as well there. Anything else to note inside the top 250? Another couple of people. Someone Mega Driving and they're still way down the order. Diego, what's gone wrong here, mate? Hamilton, Norris, good roster. Again, I think he's pretty much got what we've got, doesn't he? He's got Leclerc instead of... How has he managed that? How on earth? So he's got Hamilton, Norris, and Ocon like ourselves. Oh, he's got, Leclerc instead of Perez as well. That makes a bit more sense. And then Russell instead of Mick Schumacher as well there. So that's pretty good going by him. Where did we rank this week? I don't think we didn't even make top 50 by the looks of it. 254th. That's how badly we did at the end. We didn't even make top 250 from this week there. It was a bit of a rip for us this time around, I can't lie to you guys. So currently overall then, in the league, we are, I think we're inside the top half, so we're 184th, if I remember correctly. So if we have a bit of a scroll back up the order, hopefully we are. There we are. You can see tied with quite a few people. 3 of us, actually. Myself, Top Gun, and Nicholas. So who's on Nicholas's roster then? Currently, so he did a lot better than us last week. Verstappen, Gasly, Raikkonen, turboed Ricciardo, and then got Leclerc as well. So GG's to him and Mclaren as well there. And then we've got Diego still right behind us, so I gave him that grief, and he's still doing really well. Top Gun as well with Anupav. I've probably butchered your name there. I apologise profusely. Again, pretty similar roster to us. 4 are the same there, just Charles Leclerc instead of Sergio Perez, who obviously did score bigger points at the end of the day. But having a look, obviously, back towards the top of your order, it is still Karan at the top there. Over 800 points now for Karan. So he is absolutely smashing it at this stage of the year there. But Hugo is closing in. Struan as well. I'm into P3 there ahead of a Mog down into 4th place there after a big old rip there. You can see 200 points averaging out over the first couple of weeks there. And yeah, unfortunately, Spain 150 was not good for a Mog there. Rob in P5, they're still ahead of Dylan E, Karan A there, and Josh G with Dante and Rossi rounding out top 10. They're tied on 750 points apiece. Top non-Mega Driver user is Alex W currently. He's had a really solid start to the year. Charles Leclerc Turbo, that was GG's to him. Verstappen, Norris, Giovinazzi, Gasly, and Red Bull in there as well. That is a fantastic lineup by him if they can keep scoring good, consistent points over the course of the year there. But having a quick look then at the team, though, are we going to make any adjustments as we head in towards the Monaco Grand Prix this weekend? Now, I've and ahed about putting Charles Leclerc in. Generally, his luck hasn't been great at Monaco in the past, so I think, we took too big a risk last week. I do think, Perez has generally gone quite well at Monaco in the past, so fingers crossed for him. I am, however, actually, going to take out Mick Schumacher, and I am going to put a gamble. I made this gamble in the podcast as well yesterday. Can we afford him? We can. It's destiny. We can just afford George Russell, and he is going in the team once again. That I do genuinely believe Monaco, he is going to score points this weekend. That was my big bold call in the podcast with Jamie there. So we've put back Russell into the roster there. I'm hoping for a Hamilton dub, I'll be honest, but we'll wait and see about that. I'm expecting Lando to be a little bit quicker again. Might be worth putting one of the Ferraris in, but again, not going to risk it too much with how unlucky Charles Leclerc has been around here. I do believe Ocon could do quite well around this circuit. Perez, like I said, has gone well at Monaco in the past, and Russell, you know that. Williams is producing good downforce numbers at the moment. We're going to gamble it and put George Russell back in the team, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. As always, let me know down below just how well your team is doing as well in the Fantasy League there as well, obviously, if you want to get featured in the future. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Obviously, we've got a break week now ready before the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very, very soon. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.